All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Talking That Talk Official Podcast, where we have comfortable and uncomfortable conversations. I am your host, Juice, aka The Ordinary Brother.
All right, what's good, world? Welcome back to your favorite show. I go by the name of King Exodus. As always, we appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure you share the live. Make sure you tap into their YouTube channel as well. The link is in our bios. So, tonight's episode got a funny one for you, but it's real. Mean what you say what you mean. Oftentimes in life, a lot of people, whether it's periods of conflict, whether discussing their dreams, goals, aspirations, a lot of people just get lost in their conversation and they tend to say anything. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's with the intent to sell an emotion, hide an emotion, express an emotion, portray an image, a lot of people will just say things. And then you always have those people within your life that will hold you accountable for every word that you said, whether you was in your feelings or whether you genuinely meant what you said or not. You have some people that be like, look, in the business world, I want to attain this, or in my personal life, this is my goal, this is my next step. You have some people that'll pull your card and be like, all right, bet, you said you was working on this. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Where's something that's tangible to show that you wasn't just talking? So this conversation can range from relationships, like intimate relationships, personal relationships, friendships, family members. So mean what you say what you mean. Let's go.
All right, man. Let's start it off, man. I'm going to start off with a funny one. Listen, if you mean the opposite of what you say, don't say it at all, because I'm definitely one of the men that's going to take what you say and run with it, right? I don't know if you fellas ever been in a situation, a woman to tell you, hey, listen, I don't care what you do, right? You take it and run with it. Things get back to her. She's asking you questions. You be honest, like, hey, listen, I've been doing this, I've been, doing that. Like, well, I didn't think you was going to run with it. Like, I was like, but then you like, hold on, well, why would you say something that you don't mean? Well, that was really just to see if you would do it. But I was like, hey, hold on, like, hey, we're going to set up these ground rules, these bases that you need to be able to stick to what you say. I'd have been in situations where a person would tell me straight up, like, listen, I don't care if you talk to other girls, because right now we just talking. So, don't let it seem like, you can't do yourself and I'm going to do me when we're not together. All right, cool, whatever. Like I said, things end up occurring that prove it was really the opposite, right? I remember times a person had told me, like, I let them know I have stronger emotions, or, I like you. Okay, cool. But at the same time, we'll set things up for a relationship to come about if we are to go that route. And things that were still said beforehand still should be applied, but things get mixed with emotions at times to a point where it don't matter what you establish up front. It's all about what you're doing now. And I think like a lot of things need to be clearly communicated. So if you feel like something is really not for you, but you'll sit there and say it out loud, just understand you might be testing somebody, but you're also setting yourself up for failure at the same time. So don't give somebody access or say things that you truly don't mean, then they apply it, and now you're upset.
Okay. Just picking up where you left off. A lot of people will, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that I saw in a comedy clip that I love to watch, it was two people in a relationship. A guy cheated, woman broke up with him, right? So he constantly tried 3-4 times, went to the house, pulled up on her in public. Their kids still had a relationship. So as he dropping the kid off, he started trying. She like, no, I'm done with you. I'm done. So she hit him up. She tried to spin the block. She said, look, it's just for sex. I don't want no new bodies. That's all it is, just for sex. All right? So bro put it down. You know what I'm saying? He put it down, get a little back in her feelings, you feel me? So they kissing in public, and they start spending more time together. So then she hit him with the, hey, where's this going? He like, well, shit, you hit me up on some sex, feel me? So he keep it there. All right, bet. So they agree to cut off the sex. No problems, no hard feelings. So she finds out he's involved with another chick. Now she crying. They having this big argument. Now she hits him with the, well, instead of fighting for me, you was fighting for somebody else. You picked her over me. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to leave you. I wanted you to try harder. You only tried 3 or 4 times to get me back. So bro is just like what? You know what I'm saying? So say what you mean what you say. A lot of times we try to, really it's manipulation. And there's no clean way to say it. It's manipulation. If you're not saying what you mean with the intent of getting a particular reaction or action out of someone, that's manipulation. And if being manipulative doesn't go within the particular way you plan for it to go, you then can't get mad at the other individual because they didn't read between the lines or they didn't actually respond how you thought they would respond. You feel me? So if we have this world where we have effective communication, where people can be comfortable, right, to just say how they really feel, especially if it involves love, I think we can get a little bit further out of these types of situations. Because if we just look at the situation for what it's worth, we can easily say either the man or the woman is wrong in these types of situations, right? To be biased, the women will probably always say the man is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Men will always say the women are wrong because you didn't really tell me what you expected from me or what you wanted. You wanted me to do some shit and do the opposite of what you said. So this is very, very key and critical, especially when it comes to your heart, your feelings, your emotions, whatever. I think that should be the time you put the manipulation aside, even if you're not looking at it as manipulation. It is what it is, right? If you're not being serious with your words based on how you truly feel, then it's false, so it's manipulation. It's pretty much a lie. You're omitting the truth. That means you're still lying. So needless to say, we just got to get out of these types of situations because what tends to happen, taking it further, you know what I'm saying? People play these kind of games. I want you, but I'm not going to tell you I want you, but I'm still bad. Just to see if you get your shit together the way I want you to get your shit together, but I feel like I got to put this pressure on you. And then before you know it, both people invite new people in the relationship. And then sometimes it's the man that takes the bullet. It's the man that takes the court case a lot of times. You feel me? Sometimes females can play these types of games and then they end up getting pregnant by somebody else that they didn't intend on getting pregnant by. Really, you wanted this other guy, but y'all too busy playing these games. So this is where it leads to oftentimes. I know a lot of times we grew up watching these movies and TV shows where it worked out perfectly. I think, what was that movie with Jamie Foxx and Gabrielle Union where he ran and caught a taxi and bit his hand and did all this shit? Like, it shouldn't be that difficult just to fix a fuck up within a relationship. If you don't want to lose somebody, it's just as simple as doing what it takes and saying what needs to be said to not lose the person. But if somebody else comes in along the way and those types of things aren't an issue, you can't say that person chose somebody else over you. So you got it.
Oh man, great thing. I always said, like, people who don't want to lose something really don't, but they look at it like, well, if I go back to it, it just makes me look bad.
I'm gonna look weak. They're gonna think I'm weak.
Weak, think, coochie whipped, you know what I'm saying? And the bad thing about some of those situations that I don't like, me personally, is when people still go through those lengths of doing whatever it takes to get that person back. Then when they get the person back, let's say something else happens down the line, they'll remind you like, hey, you're the one who came back for me. And I remember seeing that stuff so much in person. Sometimes, I want to say it might have happened in my. I don't say I'm not going to be clear. I want to say it might have happened in my life, but the over exertion of energy just to get somebody back, just to play the games that you want them to play, it's terrible. Like it's really terrible when it comes to those type of situations. So I just want people to be like, listen, don't manipulate the situation because you want to have the upper hand, the advantage, right? Because you also have people who will look at those situations like, all right, well, look, you did this in return. I need to be able to do this at least one time. What? Yeah. So it's like a get back card. Like, you know, and I would tell people at the same time, if a person still has that intention to get one up on you or get even with you, I would say definitely just leave that whole situation alone. Same way X was talking about it. I know a guy who basically did cheat on his wife. The wife told him, like, all right, listen, you want to keep this relationship, the relationship got to be open now. He didn't want to do it, but he was like, all right, man, if this keeps the family together, let's go ahead and do it. It got so bad that, you know what I'm saying, the wife actually stopped just having sex with him, period. He openly knew the guy she was dealing with, but he looked at it like, okay, let me do what it takes to get this family back, even though his first standpoint was no, but he decided to proceed forward with it. So, yeah, there'd be some crazy situations. Now, talk about you fellas. I need y'all to stop saying, man, I ain't tripping out no hoe. Man, I get tired of y'all acting like y'all know me in love, bro. I get tired of that so much. Then when you get into it with a woman, you sit there putting all the business out there. Yeah. But listen, you was doing this last night, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, man. Like, some of y'all emotional men be killing me when it comes to situations like that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because I said this earlier. Like, I don't see too many men that tell a woman, like, hey, listen, I don't care what you do. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it G with me. And then you find out what you do. Now you driving in a car with tears in your eyes and a gun in your lap ready to shoot and kill everybody after that. Like, listen, if you got feelings for that woman, I'll make it know. Like, we see it time and time again, but it's movies, series. The dude want to act like he don't care. He breaking down, drinking alcohol. He going into a depressive state. Oh, man, listen. Just be conscious of what you're doing, what you're putting out there at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I believe in, listen, have non-negotiables. Non-negotiables is everything. Non-negotiables is everything. The minute you negotiate on one of your non-negotiables, hey, everything else can fall, and that's because you set yourself up the proper way.
Yeah, fellas, y'all gotta say what you mean what you say. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people just really get caught up in the intent of ego. Like, they don't want to show that they really into a person, so they hide their feelings from that person, and then more or less they hide their feelings from that person to other people. So when people just, downplay relationships, or like, that's just my side piece. That's just
side piece. That's just my little bit.
And then when they see y'all on camera fighting, you know what I'm saying, and you in jail for some bullshit or whatever, then they like, whoa, what just happened? You know what I'm saying? So this whole ego thing is crazy. And when you give people a green light to do whatever it is that they do because of this whole being non-exclusive shit, but you still expect exclusiveness at the end of the day, that's very chaotic, right? Because what you're pretty much saying is, at that point, one person can do it, but the other one can't. That's pretty much what it's saying. Feel me?
You're mine, and I'm single.
What did he tell her? He told her, hey, look, I'm single, but you take it. Yeah. So, but hey, he meant what he said on that. You know what I mean? He didn't downplay it. You feel me? So you just got to be careful how you play cards. Which goes to my next point: commitment. Not just in a relationship world, because it's not just about relationships. When you commit to a diet, when you commit to a business plan, when you commit to a goal, you actually want to mean that shit. And it's okay to not hit all your check marks. It's okay to slip up some days. It's okay to fall asleep a couple of days, probably not do everything you said you was going to do. You're supposed to read so many pages, whatever. How do we continue after that mishap has taken place? What's the next step? Do we just shut down shop because we missed a day or missed 2 days? You know what I'm saying? I was just telling Juice earlier, I trained like a maniac, but I said, look, today I only worked out once at the gym. There's a couple of home workouts. Originally, I said this week was just going to be cardio, traps, and legs. I only worked out once in the gym. But that was the game plan. That was the goal. Allow my body to recover for a week. Next week, max out everything. So you have to be conscious of what your goals are. Commit to them. I put my whiteboard back on the refrigerator. Yo, yesterday I had 4 things on the whiteboard. I ain't do none of it. I keep it jig with you. Same shit stayed on the board. Today, I knocked down 2 things. I still made progress. You feel me? Now we doing the show. So you just have to be aware of the things you commit to and hold yourself accountable. You know what I'm saying? There's really no such thing as a loss. People say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like they say, the glass is always half full. You just really have to have these type of philosophies in order to actually attain your goals, because not every goal is going to be easy. You're not going to always succeed. You're not always going to do what you say you are going to do up front. So just word to the wise, definitely hold yourself accountable whenever you commit to a task or a goal. So you got it.
Oh man, listen, I'm gonna get back on that subject. Listen, there's things where you're gonna fail, right? But you really want to get something accomplished, then you need to stick to it. And I fail a lot. I tell people I fail a lot. Y'all just don't see it, or y'all don't hear me talk about it. And all the people I talk to about it, they always understand I fail, but every time I fail, I'm moving forward at the same time, right? Just say hypothetically, let's say I failed a test, I made a 50. Next time I take the test, I made a 65. And listen, I'm increasing my failure percentages to actually pass now. Some of y'all can fail things once. Some things I failed things twice, and it's over after that, right? But the purpose of everything is to keep going, keep moving forward, don't stop. If this is truly something you want to get done, you're going to find a way to get it done. It's like I said, what is going from schools to trying to get into a new career path, or move up and advance in the company, or get in a better relationship with individuals around you. You're going to fail a lot before you move forward, right? I know situations where I'm on a date, right? I'm like, damn, man, I didn't even get the kiss last night. Let me see what I can do next time. All right, man, the next day, I might get the kiss and grab a little cheek, some yams with it. They're like, oh, okay, like I think she liked me now, But hey, listen, third day I'm not talking about that. But anyways, what I'm saying is you can always make progress in everything you do. It's all about failing forward at the same time. But yeah, that was just a funny moment right there.
On average, you got about 2 days with X. You know what I'm saying?
You got 2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
You got about 2 days. I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's not do that, man.
I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And going back on that commitment part, this is another episode for later, but it kind of fits into like a quick point. This is what goes back to the whole like commitment thing. Once again, some people feel as though like they aren't committed to a person until they're married. Some people feel like they're committed to a person because they actually verbally said it amongst each other, and it is what it is. So I've noticed a lot of times within the female world, you know what I'm saying? I've heard females say, well, hey, I ain't married, more than I heard men say. That's just what I've noticed through observation throughout time, you know what I'm saying, throughout pretty lengthy amounts of time. So me personally, some guys will approach women with, hey, not are you single or are you taken? They will say, are you married? To them, you're single unless you're married. To me, you still can have a commitment towards another man, right? You still can have obligations and duty towards another man, minus the title of marriage. So if you up for grabs from him, in the back of my mind, I can't never have you exclusively to me, because there's something with the commitment process to you. If you need it in black and white, in order for you to express that type of energy, me personally, I don't think that's genuine, in my opinion. So even people like Kevin Samuels, he would also tell women, hey, look, if you're not married, you're single. But within the same breath, he would also say, you're already a wife prior to being married. Now you just learn to be this man's wife in particular. So if you're already a wife prior to being married, you already have the mentality of being a wife, which means you're already thinking on the terms of committing. That's just me. Maybe I'm digging too deep. Maybe I'm reaching, I don't know, but that's how I look at that dynamic. Hey, my bad, man. So I just want to slide that in there, you know what I'm saying, with the whole marriage thing. Some people feel like they're not committed unless they got a ring.
Yeah.
I don't really rock with that philosophy, but I can see the pros and cons of it. Some of y'all waste so much time with an individual and it goes nowhere. So I can understand maybe if you got that kind of energy, but I feel like if you haven't made that type of mistake, I don't think you should be that kind of person towards that situation. So.
Mm. Not bad, not bad, not bad. All right, all right, all right. So, let me ask a question. Let me ask a question.
Mhm.
Do you feel like tests should still be accepted, knowing you want a person to answer it in the opposite direction?
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. No.
Mm.
Yeah, because now you're taking a 50% chance of it going. Now, if you're a mental tough person, like when I watch shows like Power, and I'm talking about the real Power, I ain't talking about these spin-off, I'm talking about Power. Ghost could accept if a person went left, like it was a 50-50 chance that the mind game may work in his favor, and it's a chance that it couldn't. So even in times where he knew people would put a knife in his back, given the opportunity and chance based on the test he put him through, he still didn't show the emotion that, hey, I know you're a snake. He waited. It was calculated moves. Everything was a chess game. So what I'm trying to say is, don't try to make chess moves if you're not willing to sit down at the chessboard and finish the game.
Mm.
God damn it. God damn it.
That's
Look,
not bad, man.
if
That's
you
not bad, man.
play chess and you beat somebody fast, that means they didn't know what they was doing. It don't mean you that good. They don't understand the game. Chess is a game of it's really just understanding the game and knowing how the pieces move. That's going to take time. If you play a long chess game, that means both y'all knew what y'all was doing. So that's just word to the wise for the chess players. So a lot of people want to play these types of games, but they can't withstand the entire game. So if you're not built for that, if you're not built for the game going left or right, don't even play the fucking game. And a lot of people are not built for it. They just pretend that they are. You know what I'm saying? That's like they say, never ask a question that you're not ready to embrace the answer.
Yes, yes.
So nah, I wouldn't say do that. People have to be more genuine, be more comfortable being genuine. Some people feel like if they're genuine and they really express themselves, then it's going to be used against them. But now we can link that back to a trauma. You know what I'm saying? If you never seen successful relationships, you never seen people be honest with each other and move forward and make progress, then you're going to see the world that way. You're going to think, okay, bet I got to play everybody. I got to have leverage over everybody. I got to test this person. I got to do. You're never going to be fully into any relationship or friendship because you're always looking at it like shit can go left.
Confirmation bias.
You know what I'm saying? Some people grow up with the mentality of, hey, look, never tell somebody everything. Never let your left hand know what your right hand doing. So I ain't gonna never tell my closest friends all my business because they may use it again. Like sometimes we just get so caught up in the trauma that we're not really living fully and embracing our relationship. So that's what I was saying on that. Yeah. Another place I could take it is emotional outbursts. You know, sometimes we get caught up in society where if I feel like you wronged me, now I have every right to curse you out. I got every right to just be completely emotional, say all these different types of things. A lot of fuck yous can get thrown out, whatever, right? And then what happens is a lot of people will come back later and apologize for what they said. And then they expect people to just forget everything that they said. You know what I'm saying? Because they apologize. So what I'm trying to say is really let's work on the emotional outbursts. Let's work on how we handle disagreements. A disagreement don't mean I gotta air out your dirty laundry. Disagreements don't mean I gotta tell you some shit you told me in confidence about when you was a child and some shit happened to, like, it don't mean I gotta bring up your family issues and all kind of other issues. Yeah, I ain't gotta bring up your relationship traumas and problems just because me and you into it right now. You just really have to be careful about how you handle disagreements because a lot of times, you know, words can never be erased. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have books, we have everything is documented. We have the internet. Things are documented, but impact and energy is documented as well. Once a person tell you, fuck you, you know, whatever, fuck your, whatever, that energy it resonates with you. It stays with you. No matter if the relationship continues or not, you still remember that energy and frequency that came from that person's mouth. Words have power. So I feel like if we raise our children this way, a lot of times our children get mad at us, and they'll give us a little backlash. I hate you. You have to calmly explain to them, look, this is not normal. This is not what normal people do in the real world. Because some people, once you say I hate you, they let you hang yourself by that shit, right? In another space, some people will say, oh, you're being petty because you're hanging somebody by their words that they told you. No, I'm not.
No, keep you accountable, stupid.
Mean what you say what the fuck you mean. If you say it, now I'm gonna hold you to it. You feel me? So I think this will raise appreciation to people within relationships, because you can't just say whatever you want to say because you're feeling it. So I ain't gonna over talk. I'll let you do your thing.
Man, nah, man, I was just say, go ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? He was in the pot, whipping.
Yeah. Steph Curry, what you got?
I'm saying, don't lose distractions there. I said, one thing I want to also mention is like, even though he's saying like, be careful of emotions, I'm gonna also say, listen, fuck your feelings, bro. Because some of y'all do the most when you're in your emotions. I told X the other day, man, talking to somebody, and when it came to data and science, it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. However, in my life, listen, you need to put out facts and data and science yourself. I'm like, whoa. How is it in my personal life, I got to apply by data and science 24/7. But when I bring up data and science to you, you can go 100% feelings and emotional base in your self-perception.
Right.
To them, it's valid. To you, you got to always be factual. I was like, this is crazy. This is bonkers. This is ludicrous. This is whatever you want to call it, right? Me and that person had the same conversation. I remember one time she was using a specific word, and I kept asking her, are you sure you're using the correct word for what you're saying right now? The response was, it doesn't matter. It's the word I feel like I should be using. I was like, but you're using it incorrectly. It doesn't matter. It's the word I choose to use right now. It's like, listen, now you try to start arrogant. Words have an effect on your mind. So you're saying it's okay when you're your emotions to be wrong, but it's right to you presently because you're in your emotions, and don't think that's not right if somebody does it back to you. Well, listen, I'm telling you how I 100% feel. If I want to use that word, I'm going to use that word. No matter if I use that word incorrectly, it's the word I chose before the emotions you have made me feel. I was like, God damn, bro, this is crazy. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is, some of y'all get so emotionally unconnected that you feel like you're right at the most unlogical situations. If you get consumed by your emotions so much, understand you will fucking make a house decay brick by brick, make it fall, whatever you want to do. Because then after it, you want to come back days later like, hey, I'm wrong. Like, no, there's no more house. We good. We're good. I pulled you to the side a couple times to ask you conscious questions so you can evaluate what you say to me. There's no more houses, love. Here's some straws. You can start from there. Start from scratch with somebody else.
Yeah. I like that. Another place I can take this is like the whole religious world, the spiritual world, where people confess to be religious. I'm okay with it to a particular capacity, because I understand that sometimes people use that as a catalyst to become a better person, a better human being. They use it as principles, morals, and guidelines. But when people overly confess it, it's like, are you really reading what you're studying? You feel me? I just read something, and it was a video, and it was talking about how people disassociate New Age philosophy from religion. But when they actually studied the time periods of religion, they was like, look, and there's no shots at nobody, but they were saying like Christianity would be like the newest religion. So by default, New Age would be Christianity. not new age being astrology, astronomy, and all these different types of things, because that predated all religions. So what am I trying to say is just be careful what you use for your principles, morals, and guidelines is for you, your family, your household. It's not for the world. It's not for your community. It's not for your family. It's not a broad perspective. It's a personal experience with your creator. So meaning what you say is like, okay, bet if you overly confess to be a Christian, it's people that actually read that book that know about the Old Testament separate from the New Testament. You got over 613 laws, not just 10 commandments. So you can't just pick out the 10 out of the 613 and say it's impossible to do 613. That's why I gave you 10. And it's people that read that book in different versions, and they like that. You claiming to be this holy roller, I'm reading, you're not doing it. Like it's people that's gonna pull your card. So you gotta really just be careful. You know what I'm saying? It's not just picking on that religion, but anything you confess to be a part of on a religious perspective is somebody that knows that. And they're gonna look at the doctrine and look at your actions, and they're gonna make decisions on if you're really about that life or you're not. And some people can confess to be about that life, but they don't read and study enough to even make sure that they're actually about the life or not, right? So that goes back to reading and studying and actually living that life and just following indoctrination. I feel like nobody should practice a religion and if you hadn't read that book from cover to cover. Maybe a kid can say, I ain't read the whole Bible, but you shouldn't be 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and you've never read your whole book of whatever it is you practice. That's trash. You know what I'm saying? You want God to come through in the clutch for you. You want God to put on for you all the time. Everybody's blessed and highly favored, but nobody want to put in the fucking work, study, read, and make sure that they're pleasing God 100%. But you want God to please you 100%. Mm-hmm. So even on the spiritual side, people claim to be spiritual because they're not religious, and everybody want to play with crystals and play with sage and burn the shit up and meditate and you feel me, and manifest, and everybody want to be spiritual. That's trash too if you're not really about that life. Mm-hmm. Everybody just want to put a title on something, but they don't want to put in the work. So for the people that's really fasting and reading and studying and trying different things out and actually putting in the work, connecting with these things that everybody's talking about and making, they're not just following the new trend. Everybody want to be woke only when it comes to certain types of conversations, but they still want to blend in what's being woke with other shit that's not quote unquote woke, but you're woke in your own way now. Fuck all that. It's a group of people that's really about that spiritual life. They're not blending it. They're not a woke Christian. They're not a woke Islamic. They really about a life. You know what I'm saying? So just word to the wise. It's like, don't put a title on yourself if you're really not fully doing the knowledge and the wisdom of it, the study and the practice of whatever it is. Some people put on gym clothes every day, go to the gym, but don't really work out, but they sell it like, yeah, I'm training. I'm doing my thing. Like, fam, it's people.
What they do video. Hey, is that all right, here we go.
It's people in that gym that say, oh yeah, they just come in there for 15 minutes, take a couple pictures, bust a little sweat, and they go. And then there's some people in there, they see that person that's really putting in that grit, that work, they sweating, they look painful and all that shit. They like, yo, he one of them ones, she one of them ones. They come in here on a whole nother vibration. They really putting work. Like, everybody's observing you. You may be able to fool people that's not with you in certain situations. They're not with you in the trenches. But, you know, I just look at it like, I don't want to fool a certain group of people and have another group of people that look at me in a completely different direction. I want to make sure everybody at some point sees the same values and principles, morals, and actions. So that's all I got in the whole like religious and spiritual thing.
Oh man, I was gonna say one of the things about many of the things that you say, like I said, within time you're gonna get asked about it, called about it, right? I remember at a young age, before getting the experience and knowledge, people were like, "Hey, what's up? You became a millionaire yet? Huh? You was talking about being a millionaire when you was younger. Like, what's up, man? You became that yet? You know?" So,
wow, that's toxic. That's toxic.
It can be toxic, it can be whatever, but at the same time, people want to leverage what you say to work it against you at the same time.
Yeah.
So what's the best way you want to do it? You want to be able to have them actions to shut them the fuck up. You want those actions. That's why a lot of people be like, what, like fucking bring back to Kevin Samuels. They was talking about, hey man, your tone, if you do it better, you probably reach more people. Like, why would I change it when I'm getting results? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people want you to change to something that's not getting you results. You might need to stay a certain way if it's giving you the results, right? One thing about when I was crazy in the gym, X tell you about it, man. I don't know, he'll tell you, man. He'll tell you. One thing about being in the gym is, listen, you get acknowledged once you're known frequently in that gym.
Mm-hmm.
You get acknowledged. Yes, you will get acknowledged because people see you like, okay, he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember my first month, straight 31 days, starting to dap people up now. Why? Because we're seeing each other, like we try to see each other, right? Second month come in, we might start having a conversation. Because some people, I know people in the gym that don't want to talk to you if you're not working out. I know, ask me how to do nothing proper, none of that shit. Like, listen, let me see you fail a couple times. Let me see you come in a couple more days. So that's the best part about when people are willing to help you. They're willing to help you if you're willing to help yourself, or at least show up to the activity, right? In other words, you said just mentioned, mention spirituality, not being spiritual. Yeah, some people be like, yo, I'm a boss, and people are like, oh well, shit, what it do? When you give yourself certain titles and stuff, people are gonna expect you to apply by those titles. What does it really truly mean? You know, your executions, are you really doing that? What makes you a boss? You know what I'm saying? And one of the most, I call it manipulation, I also call it weak, is that people will sometimes take titles and give it their own perception, so now it doesn't sound too bad when they fuck up, right? Yeah, I'm a boss, but you know what I'm saying? I don't do everything that a traditional boss does, you know? I don't want anything to cut the corner of what it actually means to be this specific title. There's too much lollygagging. There's too much, people want to, instead of black and white, they want to mark in gray areas. I'm like, okay, man, that's cool, man. You might want to be careful of individuals who always do that. They'll say something, you know what it means, I know what it means, but then their actions is nothing of what they say. But when you ask about it, then it's like, well, I do things kind of different, and they pinpoint why it still falls in that category of what they say, even though none of the actions never match up. Be careful.
Yeah, and just I like what you did. One thing I would say is, I think one thing that keeps me within a clear space is I don't think nobody can say validation means nothing to them, but it never really meant a lot to me. I never was the kind of guy that was like, if we was talking about females, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all had moments where we proved, oh, I'm that guy. I got this girl. I got this.
Yeah.
We all did it once or twice, but I never was that kind of guy because I started noticing a trend. I was like, nah, I'll just peep back because I've noticed manipulation in different aspects. But I started looking at how men manipulate other men, and it's like, pull it far. He'll do anything. I mean, it could be something simple. I bet you can't do that. Bet. You know, it could be anything. It could be something you know you can't do just because somebody challenged you. You can't do that. Bet. Put money on the table.
Right.
You ain't even got the money to lose. You ain't got it to gamble. But I can't walk away from a nigga challenging me. I'm putting the money. I know I'm finna lose this bread, but I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it like a G. Like, I've seen that so many times, and I noticed the correlation. And I'm like, these people never really get nowhere because they're looking for validation. You know what I'm saying? And so I started looking at life from a different angle, and I think that's how I made it out of a lot of situations. Is because the validation don't mean shit to me. If I talk my money talk, if I talk my self-improvement talk, and somebody say, well, where your $1 million at? That shit don't do nothing to me because I don't need $1 million to validate what I'm talking about. On a particular space and level to get in a particular space, a crowd of people, maybe. But just for you, I don't need that. Because what you don't realize is I may not have it now, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Every day I'm going to continuously work for this until I get what's due to me. And let's just cut it short. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if it's not a meal, okay, bet. I'm going to put somebody else to come behind me within route, with them to be in position to take it further than what I did. So that's when you have to reevaluate. The glass is always half empty, half full. There's always room for growth, room for improvement. We talked about this on different levels. You have people that didn't become millionaires until they was 50 years old, 60 years old. Steve Harvey, he just shared his story. He didn't become a comedian until he was in his 30s. So
38.
I don't have to show you at 25, 26, 27, 30, 31 that I'm really about what I say when it comes to that type of thing, because every day I'm putting in work. I don't care if you don't see my work and you can't calculate where the work is going. So I think that can corrupt people at the same time because they feel like they have to portray a particular image to match what they're talking about all the time. You know what I'm saying? What they say, wealth is quiet, poverty and being rich is loud, but wealth is quiet. The top 7% of wealth, you may know the name if you know certain types of information, but you really don't know the families that run the world. You don't know the top hedge fund companies that run everything. The average person doesn't know the shit because wealth is not fucking loud. Black people got to cut this shit of validating people and validating their success and validate. Wealth is fucking quiet. You will never know who runs everything because it's very dark and quiet. The shit that's out front, that's loud, that can easily be validated, that's the shit that's probably not as wealthy. Just keeping it 100 with you. So by even studying the way wealthy people move, I don't gotta validate you. I ain't gotta show you my net worth. I ain't gotta show you shit. That's how it works. That's how it really works in the real world. So that's why I say sometimes we have trauma on different levels and we can't connect with the trauma because we're not looking at how everybody else moves outside of us. So yeah, that was my last point, was validation. Saying what you mean and standing on that doesn't mean you got to validate everything all the time to everybody. Who gives a fuck? Look, you're working on your moves in silence and the darkness where nobody knows. You choose when you come out of that darkness and stunt. You choose when you want to show what you got. You choose that shit. You don't let other people dictate when you got to show what you got. Those are traps. You know what I'm saying? It's either traps to take what you got. It's either trap. It's all that shit is a trap. So just words to the wise. Until people can regurgitate how they regurgitate like Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, sports statistics and all that. When we can regurgitate wealth the same way and tell you top families, hedge funds, top stockholders, what company owns this company, then we can have that type of conversation on validation. But until then, validation don't mean shit. So what I'm trying to say, really, at a certain point in life, if you're really living that life that you claim to live and you're really that person that you claim to be, you really don't give a damn if anyone knows you're that person or not. I said all the time, I really, truly want to own like a nail salon or some shit like that. But I want to fool you within the illusion and make you think it's Chinese or some shit or it's Asian. I don't want to put a black name on it. I don't want to put a black face on it. I don't want to let you know a black man on it. I don't have to. That's how it works. That's how it really works in the real world. When people try to have, like when they had the little backlash with Gucci, and it's like, we're going to boycott Gucci because they're racist. You still bought Balenciaga. You still bought Alexander McQueen. You still bought, the same company that owns Gucci owns those other brands as well. Mm-hmm. That's how wealth moves. That's how it moves. You don't know all the details and nuances because it's quiet. So that's all I got on that, man.
Yeah. Well, so I got on the subject, my brother. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, that's good, man. You did your job, man. That's good money. That's good money. On closing, make sure you tap into the YouTube channel, Talking and Talk Official Podcast. We got the link in both of our bios. Up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus, and we appreciate your time. Thank you for tapping in.
All right, y'all. Peace. Have a great night.